All right, let's get to the Mariners. 3-1 winners last night against Baltimore. And Chris, Cal Raleigh is back.
We talked about the big story, and I want everybody to know here, just don't let the outside noise, I know Paul mentions that name, piggyback. Let's not talk about that right now. Let's talk about the big dumper and what we saw. Cal Raleigh returns. Somebody said it was like opening day 2.0 to have Cal. There he is right there, back in the lineup. What he does for this team, obviously he comes through with a game-winning hit. That was huge. The way he kind of called that game last night with Logan Gilbert, we're going to break down that as well. But, Paul, just a magnificent sight to have the big dumper back. And let's also not forget J.P. Crawford getting the start at third base, what he did last night. So many guys are starting to trickle back into this team, and they're going to be dangerous.
Yeah, I mean, it's just a matter of balancing the injuries. And, Dan Wilson and Justin Hollander talked about it a little bit yesterday. But one of the big moves on this team was J.P. Crawford, who volunteered a month ago to move over to third base to make room for Colt Emerson at shortstop. You have to appreciate his team first mentality, because you go to the hot corner, you're looking at some of these ground balls are coming at you just firing from 80 feet away, where you're on the edge of that infield and you've got to act fast. You got to be like a hockey goalie over there at the hot corner. So Crawford played there years ago with the Phillies for about 30 games, and then he switched to shortstop in his major league career. So he has very little experience at the corner, but man, just give him a big pat on the back for taking this on.
And I will tell you this, as somebody that's been to the ballpark early and sometimes later, Perry Hill doesn't get enough credit. He is the infield coach for the Seattle Mariners, and what Perry has done, working a little bit before, a little bit after, getting him ready for the hot corner. It's going to take some time. It's different. But I remember Perry did tell me, one of the big differences, I said, what's the biggest difference between third base and shortstop in the Major League Baseball? He said it's about 1 to 5. You get 5 more balls at shortstop than you do at third. But still, those balls are coming a lot. They're coming a lot quicker at third base, Paul.
I'll take 5 slow grounders to shortstop. But man, I tell you what, listen, I don't have a whole lot of baseball experience, but there were times back in the day where I had to play third base, and it comes at you fast there. Nothing like it comes at you when you're talking about major league hitters. So big kudos to JP for taking this on. Hopefully it works out well for him. You got Brendan Donovan out there waiting to come back as well. So some juggling the lineups continue, but as you mentioned, Perry Hill, affectionately known as Bone by the players over there. They love him, and he does a fantastic job in that infield work. So
yeah, and he's had a lot of moving parts this year. I mean, he's had to move Cole Young over to shortstop. He's had to do a lot. He had Mastroboni at first base. So once again, this infield just continues to move, and give credit to Perry for that. The big story, obviously, Cal Raleigh. And Paul, Cal is such a big part of this baseball team. Also, baseball is a big part of Cal's life. So for Cal to be back, not just great day for the Mariners, for the fans, it was also a very special day for Cal.
I think I saw Cal smile tonight, and I think that's a big key, to be honest with you. Just having fun with the game again, and he's an exceptional player. We all know that, and I think he found the joy of the game, and that's what's important. Seeing him out there tonight, he was in his glory. He was right where it's his sweet spot, running the game, getting a big hit. That's Cal, and that was an impressive night for him.
Kind of just like trying to get back to what I do really well, and trying to make that adjustment physically and mentally in the head, and we'll see if it pays off, and I think I'm in a good spot right now, and just going to try to help the team win, not really trying to look to do anything crazy, just try to have good at bats and keep the line moving, do things like that. So
all right, Cal Raleigh, I love the soundbite from Dan Wilson last night that he, saw him smile. He saw the joy in his joy with him again. And sometimes, Paul, you have to get sidelined for a little bit to kind of reevaluate. And, going down to Everett, playing a game there, playing a lot of games in Tacoma in front of sold-out crowds there. You could tell that Cal not only got his timing back, but definitely found the joy in baseball again. Not that I'm saying he lost it, but sometimes when you get away a little bit, it helps you appreciate it even more.
Yeah, he comes back and he catches Logan Gilbert. Those guys are longtime friends. They started back in Single A as battery mates, and he even made a joke to Gilbert before the game saying he wishes, or in a text message he actually sent to Logan telling him he was coming back, he said he wishes that he was going to catch Brian Wu in his return. So they took a little bit of back and forth there because they have that kind of relationship. But there's a real comfort between Gilbert and Cal Raleigh. And last night, I mean, Gilbert, if he hadn't hit Pete Alonso with the ball, he would have retired 20 straight batters. Instead, it was 19 of 20 to close it out. He gave up that long ball to Taylor Ward to start this game. It bounces off the wall, and you're like, uh-oh, first pitch goes off the wall. And, man, since that point on, he, dials in Walter, his alter ego. Look at that face, Chris. That's Walter right there.
That is Walter. And I'll say that ball's going to leave most parks. Luckily, the wind last night was blowing in, so that helped keep it. Tough play out there for Robles in left field. The ball was doing a lot of moving there. But, yeah, you're right. He dialed in. After that first inning, I was a little concerned, to be honest with you. He's over 20 pitches in that first inning, and then it was just an economy of pitches the rest of the way. That allowed him to go to 7 innings. Here's my only concern, Paul, and we're going to get into the piggyback in a second here, but if I have any concern about the piggyback and 3.0, I don't know where we're at. If you were piggybacking Logan Gilbert, how could you take him out of last night's game? I mean, he was dialed in. He was so incredible last night. There's no way you pull him after the 5th inning, so that's my only concern. We'll get to that in a second. We got to talk about the good stuff right now. That's Logan Gilbert, season high 10 strikeouts last night. Paul mentioned on fire, retired 16 straight. The fastball was definitely working last night for Logan Gilbert.
Being aggressive, trying to think of it as quick at bats, like 3 or 4 pitches. I mean, the funny thing is I kind of always am doing that, and it's not always 7 innings with 10 strikeouts. So you kind of take it when you can, but there's also some humility in this game just to know, I really don't have that much control. None of us do. But good things happen when you're aggressive and challenging hitters, and hopefully they miss it.
Good things happen when you're fastball. It seemed like I had a little extra gear tonight. I had a lot of life. Did it feel like that out there?
Based on the swings, I think so. After first couple innings, it looked like Cal really wanted to roll with it. I had a lot of confidence seeing some of those swings. And, they definitely have some good hitters. It's a good lineup. It didn't feel like way better than normal. It felt good. But I know if I'm getting above the barrel, getting some weak flyouts or swing and miss, then I noticed, we got something here. I don't really know what, but we just kept going with it.
Paul, it's hard enough to hit Logan Gilbert. He's got that long arm span, and big elbows coming. Then you got to look up and you see that face coming after you as well.
That face, cracks me up because it reminds me of the Walter mindset that he has. But that particular picture looks like those great whites that come out of the water, and look at that. It looks like a shark, Chris. I mean, he's coming at you like Jaws. So it's summertime. It's time for swimming, and you don't want to be in the waters when Logan Gilbert's out there for sure.
And he was eating up the birds last night. That is for sure. Logan Gilbert was on fire. It was great to see. And, Paul, that leads us to the discussion. It was mentioned yesterday the Mariners are going to continue the piggyback approach at least through the All-Star break. Then they're going to reassess things. Now, it's going to be different. Every pitcher here is going to have a chance to play the role of starter and then also come out of the bullpen. You know what? When you look at the stats, it's working, Paul. The piggyback approach is working when you look at the stats.
You love that, man. You love on paper.
I love on paper with baseball. I'll say this. Where it wasn't working early on for me was communication. And I'm going to give a lot of credit to Justin Hollander here as one of the leaders of that organization. He said it yesterday. That's on me. We've got to be better when it comes to communication. And I'm going to say what? Justin, that wasn't on you, but way to take one for the team. That's what great leaders do. And you came out yesterday saying we've got to be better with communication. They sat down with all the pitchers. They talked this through. And apparently, according to the pitchers, this is what they want to do. 5-man rotation with a piggyback all the way up until the All-Star game, and then they're going to reassess things. What concerns me, Paul, is just the day-to-day. If today is a piggyback day and that other pitcher is on fire, it just doesn't make any sense to me at all why you would pull him out of the game. That's where it concerns me. I can see it helping the bullpen. Yeah, I can see it statistically working. If all the guys are talking and it's what they want to do, then I'm fine with it. But how do you pull a Logan Gilbert out of a game last night?
That's the biggest question going forward. It's just not that. It's not sustainable. My big question, too, you got 6 starting pitchers in a room, and you're discussing this piggyback operation. Everyone knows that it's Castillo that everybody's pointing the finger at because he's been the big topic of conversation for the last month. So if you're in this room with Castillo and you're looking across there, I got to give credit to all 6 guys because you have to overlook the fact that they're in this piggyback situation because of when Bryce Miller came back, Castillo was starting. What do you do with those guys? That's where it started. So you got to give kudos and a pat on the back to these players who know they want to pitch on a 5-day rest. They do not want to pitch on this 6-day rest. So I just wonder, like, if everybody's, if they're not side-eyeing each other in that clubhouse meeting going, man, you know, I just wonder about the chemistry, how long they're going to keep this up. Because if you're a player on that team and you have to pitch on a 6 days rest or you're piggybacking and then any of that other stuff when you're, like Chris said, when you're on a roll, you're not coming out in the 4th or 5th inning. That's just a bad move. So, but it's going to take a full cooperation of this starting rotation to everybody's got to buy in. Not 5 out of 6, 6 out of 6. And I think that's a tough ask.
I think it is a tough ask, but I do appreciate the sounds from Justin Hollander yesterday that this has been discussed, it has been talked about, and so there shouldn't be any surprises. There shouldn't be any blow-ups in the bullpen, guys upset because they didn't know it was coming. They're all going to know it's coming. But yeah, if you're a pitcher, Paul, and you get pulled in the 5th inning, you got a shutout going, you should be pissed. You should be. That's what pitchers do. Will this help the bullpen? You know, there's no concern right now when Matt Brash, Cooper Criswell, they're out, Paul, and they may not return until the trade deadline in early August. So the bullpen has some issues. I know Dusty Baker's going to do a deep dive. Are there any, you know, relievers out there the Mariners can trade for? You know what? There's not a lot of them. So here he is, Justin Hollander, on the state of the Mariners bullpen.
Everybody carries a little more of the load. You know, we'll ask guys like Nick Davila and Alex Hoppe to step up. Michael Rucker, I thought, threw the ball well in D.C., and he's obviously a guy who's been here before. There's really no market to go trade for relievers right now, and everybody who has sort of playoff desires and World Series aspirations wants to trade for relievers. There's just market doesn't really exist in the middle of June right now. So we'll be on the lookout, obviously. We'll be aggressive when it's the right time to be aggressive, when we can be. But for right now, all you can do is ask the guys to step up and go do what they do well. Throw the ball over the plate, execute your plan A all the time as much as you can, and we'll let the chips fall where they may. We weathered the storm the last time when Matt was out really well, actually, and I would anticipate us doing that again today.
All right, there's the latest on the Mariners bullpen. A good sign. Andres Munoz came out to close. There was concern if he'd be out. Paul, I think the back's fine. 7 pitches over 100 miles an hour last night. Had several at 101, so he looked great last night. Need to give kudos to Andres Munoz because it's so easy. We sit here and know what's wrong with Andres. Looked pretty good last night. Came out and did some dealing, and I want to give one more shout out because he wasn't on any of the highlights last night. And if you're a baseball fan, Paul, he should have been. Miles Mastrobuoni. Are you kidding me? Laying down the perfect
how you
bunt.
yell his name or accent or act all cool when you say his name.
Miles Mastrobuoni.
It doesn't make him a better player.
Oh, Paul, I mean, the way he laid down that bunt, it was absolutely perfect last night.
Bunting is a lost art for sure, and you got to give him credit for that. So, nice bunt.
We needed that bunt. J.P. Crawford took a nice walk after that bunt. So those are the little moments.
All right.